Right. So, the other thing that crossed my mind as you were speaking was the concern about potentially ownership of the clients. What are your thoughts on that in terms of the reliance of the business on the owner's relationships with clients versus, say, a salesperson?
Yeah, it can be a big deterrent for a buyer. So, I mean, their worry, their concern is, well, if you leave as the business owner, then what's going to happen to the relationships there?
Yeah.
You mentioned a sales manager, but if you have a single sales manager and they own all of the customer relationships, and if they leave the company, it's a similar risk. I always often reflect back on my dad's story. My dad was a produce exporter in Atlantic Canada, and when it came time for him to exit his business, he was the only one in the company that would travel to the clients. His clients were in the Caribbean, and he would travel a few times a year to go down and see them. And by the time he was ready to retire, they were with him because they were so loyal, because he had been with them for 30 years. Meanwhile, the market rate prices for products had declined, and his competitors were undercutting the prices. And at that time, when he removed himself from the company, his clients were going to chase price, because no longer were they loyal to him or whoever took his place. And so, price would have taken precedence.
Yeah, so it sounds to me like a good strategy for a business owner could very well be to layer those relationships and figure out and create different ownership layers for customers, between the customer and the business itself.
Exactly. Yeah. And if the owners, if they're able to not be the face of the company, it's great. It's, often so many founders, they pride themselves on having that personal relationship with clients. But when it comes to exit and a sale, it becomes a risk for a buyer.